last time. I went a little bit over. So anyway, first of all, real quick, the FCA, I'm glad that we're all here and hopefully we'll be encouraged to give, because there is so much going on out there and so little opportunity to have Christ in our schools and FCA. It's just God absolutely has his hand on that ministry, because FCA can be there when really no one else can. And it's just awesome. So I just want to say, give generously when you get a chance. You know, we just finished recruiting a little bit ago, and I can remember back in the day when I got recruited. Believe it or not, I played quarterback in Boca Raton High School, and I got a chance to be recruited by the University of Miami. I was like the first guy to commit. And they didn't have all the websites and all the stuff like they had in the past, so it was no big deal. You know, you commit to a school, and that's the deal. Well, right towards the end of sign-in date, I was in the office of the head coach at Miami, which was Lou Saban at the time, not Nick Saban, but Lou Saban. And Lou Saban was there, and I was in his office, and I was looking at the Miami Herald and all the guys that were the list of the other guys that began to commit throughout the year right before sign-in date. And of course, when they recruited me, they said I was the guy. They were looking for the new quarterback to take the team to great heights and all that kind of thing. So I'm believing everything they tell me. Well, then I look at the list and I see another guy's named Mike Rodrigue, and it says quarterback/DB. And I said, what about this guy? He said, oh, don't worry, he's a defensive back. Well, as it turned out, he did play quarterback. But anyway, I believed him. So then I said, well, tell me about this guy. His name's Jim Kelly from East Brady, Pennsylvania, with the quarterback and no slash by him. I don't know if y'all know who Jim Kelly is, but I looked at that name and I said, what's up with him? It says quarterback without a slash on there. He looked me straight in the eye. He said, somebody's got to back you up. And I was like, hey, it's a good plan, coach. So I believed him. So anyway, I had my goals. My goals was to start as a freshman. My second year, I was going to be All-American. My junior year, I was going to win the Heisman and go pro. Just, you know what I'm saying? So I had my plan going, but unfortunately, Jim Kelly began to live out my life for me, and it was very, very tough to do, because my entire identity was in being a football player. That was my life. That's who I was. Okay? And so because of that, when he started living my life, I kind of went in the tank and did some stupid things that I never dreamed I'd do, and I don't have time to go into detail here. And even though my wife does know everything I probably did back in the day, because when we became best friends on the front end, I told her everything, never dreaming we'd get married. And then, so when all my college buddies came back to tell stories about me, she knew them all, so that was kind of nice. But anyway, I was doing things that were just awful. And so, anyway, right towards the end of my career, as I'm backing up Jim the entire time, he got hurt, and I got a chance to start. So I played a few games, got a chance to be invited to the blue-gray game, but unfortunately, about 3 games in, I got in trouble, got suspended, and the guy that took my place was a guy named Vinny Testaverde. I don't know if you ever heard of him. But as you can imagine, I never got a chance to play again. And so anyway, I'm thinking my pro career's over. Well, anyway, you know how the combine's going on, the draft's getting ready to happen, the NFL draft, and guys are starting to get prepared for their pro days. A pro days when the NFL teams come to your college and they work out your players, and our guys are getting ready for that. Ours is in April. We're the last one this year because Aaron Murray is recovering from a ACL injury. We want him to be as healthy as possible, and the rest of the guys will work out there as well. Well, back then, Jim Kelly was getting ready to prove to the NFL his injured shoulder was healed and that he could play and be a first-round draft pick. So as he was getting his pro day ready to go, I said, hey, Jim, and I said, you know, we used to call him Lucky Jim because back in the day, when we were trying to win the job, you know, I would drop back, I'd hit the receiver right in the hands, and the ball would pop up, and the DB would catch it, and he'd go for a touchdown. Interception for a touchdown. Jim would drop back, and it was just like the Auburn game. He launched it out there, and the DBs would knock it up in the air, and the receiver would catch it on the dead run, and they'd score a touchdown. So that's how Jim beat me out to begin with, because he was lucky. But anyway, you can ask my mom on that one, but... So anyway, I was saying, Jim, can I please throw in pro day with you? He's like, sure, Boca. He called me Boca. I was from Boca Raton. That was my name, Boca. It turned into Boca Baby later on, but I won't tell you why it became Boca Baby. But anyway, I'm back there, and I'm working out with Jim on pro day. Jim throws a little swing pass pretty good. I drop back. but beautiful, much better than Jim. He threw a slant, not bad. I threw it right on the money. He threw a deep ball. It was fairly impressive. I threw it. It was amazing. So I'm thinking, if they think he's a first-round draft pick, surely I'll get drafted in this draft. So anyway, the draft comes, and back in the day, there wasn't on TV and all that stuff. You just sit there and stare at your phone, hoping it would ring. And I stared at the phone all day. I just kept staring at the phone. And the phone never rang. The draft ended, and then my agent called. He said, you got to have an agent, right? My agent called. He says, I got good news and bad news. I go, well, what's the bad news first? He goes, the bad news is you didn't get drafted. I'm like, duh. You know, the phone didn't ring. So I go, what's the good news? He goes, well, since you're a free agent, there's two teams that want you. One's Pittsburgh and one's Denver. I go, well, how much? You want to know the signing bonus, right? What's the signing bonus? He goes, well, 6 figures for both of them. Pittsburgh is 5,000.00, and Denver was 8,000.00. So I said, I'm going for the big bucks. I'm going to Denver. I fly into Denver. I have a meal with John Hadel, who is the receivers coach. I sign my contract. I go back to the hotel room, and when I turned on the television, it said, newsflash, John Elway has just been traded from the Baltimore Colts to the Denver Broncos. So I called my agent, like, can I get out of this thing? He said, did you sign the contract? I said, yeah. He said, it's too late. So anyway, I thought the next day I was going to go meet Coach Reeves and go to the complex and all that. Well, when I got to the complex the next day, I got to meet lucky John Elway. So anyway, the first 10 days of camp is the time you're supposed to win the job as a rookie. It's rookie day. It's rookie camp for about 7 to 10 days. Then the veterans come in, and they go at a faster pace. So I'm thinking that was going to be my time to shine. But when Elway came in as a rookie, they spent the whole time trying to get him ready. The best thing I did was I worked a drill called the pass rush drill. That's where the offensive lineman's trying to block the defensive end. And when he gets back there, there's usually a big dummy there. They smack the dummy, Well, I got to be the guy back in the pocket getting smacked, So I just worked. I was trying to make the best of it. I was going to work on my pocket movement, see if I can impress the coaches. I did get in a scrimmage. I was 0 for 2, and one was an interception for a touchdown, but I still thought I did good.